Cape
Verde is one of Africa's calmest countries. You can stroll around the city with your camera without worrying that you'll get stabbed or robbed. Everything is fine with my stuff. It's a popular spot for tourists with dreary buildings, a real treat for urban explorers, and unique Martian landscapes with sandy beaches formed by volcanoes. Well, that seems like the end of the show for us. Guys, I'm in Cape Verde, a country that only became independent in 1975. Before that, it was a colony of Portugal. Cape Verde, previously called Ribeira Grande, is actually a group of 18 islands in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Africa. Friends, we came to Cape Verde. Our main goal was to get to the city, but as we have a layover of about 4 hours, I thought we rent a car. But it turns out there's no car rental at the airport, not a single one. So we had to take a taxi. Taxi driver charged us 55 euros for a 3-hour ride. By the way, it's convenient here because both the local currency and the euro are accepted here. There are quite a few abandoned houses and the streets are generally empty.
The
ferry service in Cape Verde is actually not that bad. Ferries connect all of the inhabited islands. They're not very frequent or convenient. Sometimes there aren't even ferries. Instead, there are some boats that take literally all night. For example, you can buy a bed for a 6-hour journey. Today, we're heading to Santo Antão. It's just an hour away by ferry, but here's the catch. Even though the two neighboring islands are quite populated, there's hardly any traffic, unlike in Norway between the fjords. Instead, there are only 2 departures, one at 10:30 and another at 14. So while we wait, the only thing left to do is to stroll around the rather gloomy streets of Mindelo. Mindelo is the capital of São Vicente, the island we're on. In the heart of Mindelo, I stumbled upon a playground, apparently built by the European Union. So folks, if you think São Vicente is the end of the world, I'm going to surprise you. Because here, for example, let's check out what a playground looks like here. Look at this little gem. There's sand, a slide for the little ones, and for the older kids, there are these structures, nets. There's a soft surface everywhere. Look at this slide. It's not a masterpiece, but you know, the last thing I expected to see in the African faraway was a playground like this, or swings like these. And there's even a toilet in the playground. Impressive. There's a whole block of toilets and a sink, all built by the European Union. It's for hand washing and fighting against the coronavirus. The toilet requires payment, and there's a dedicated person here to maintain it. And of course, like in every good playground, there's a small bar for the parents, so they can enjoy it themselves too. But they don't sell alcoholic drinks. That's the bar. There's some popcorn, and there are other amenities here. And here there are 2 sports fields, basketball field with 1 ring and bleachers, and some, I don't know, open area of some sort. A sort of open space for walking. Cape Verde relies heavily on the EU, even though it's far from Europe. Due to its location west of Africa and Europe, Cape Verde has become one of the world's drug trafficking hubs. Local ports have turned into transit points for drug trafficking between Latin America and Europe. The police suspect that the Russian mafia is behind this, clandestinely controlling the illegal market in the islands and organizing the drug trade. These suspicions, by the way, are not baseless. In 2019, at the port of Cape Verde, the police found 9.5 tons of cocaine on a Panamanian-flagged ship with Russian sailors. sailors. The ship's captain received a 12-year prison sentence, while the rest of the crew received 10 years each. The Cape Verde government and the United Nations invest heavily in combating drugs, but there has been little positive change. Fighting drug trafficking in Cape Verde is just risky. In 2014, for instance, the chief investigator's mother was murdered, and a few months later, the son of the country's prime minister was injured. So drug trafficking in Cape Verde continues to thrive. It's hard to imagine that the small port towns of Cape Verde harbor drug cartels among their quiet streets. During my visit to all of the islands, I felt safe and relaxed. One of Cape Verde's advantages is its safety. Here you immediately unwind, leaving your camera and valuables on the table without a second thought. And now we have a ferry here. We're waiting for the ferry. We have 3 hours. We arrived at the port and simply asked the guard there to look after our stuff while we went for a stroll. We entrusted our things to the guard, including a backpack with my laptop. I can't imagine another country where I would leave all my stuff with a stranger. I mean, not even in a locker. Nothing. Just a guy at the port who simply said, "Yeah, don't worry at all, leave your stuff, I'll keep an eye on it." I don't know, well, that can only happen in Japan and here in Cape Verde. Although Cape Verde is in Africa, it's impossible to imagine leaving your belongings with a random person at a port in an African country. It's unusual. We'll see. It's very likely that when we get to the port, neither that guard nor our belongings will be there. The local shops here are quite intriguing, by the way. It's as if you've been transported to a, I don't know, Soviet past. Here, for example, is a shop window displaying a range of very unusual Chinese knickknacks. It's all on display and it looks quite shabby. It looks, I don't know. It's like they forgot to turn the calendar over. Quite astonishing, actually. In the city center, when there's hardly any traffic, they've erected an absolutely terrible fence. It's unclear why it's there. Mandela's attractions ended quickly, so I moved on from the shops with Chinese curiosities to the local market. The local market. There's cassava, carrots, onions, green tomatoes, papayas, and bananas. That's about it. And it all feels very homely. There's some bananas, papayas, and herbs, local watermelons. These watermelons are small and not very flavorful. People are doing their weekly shopping. Baskets, bananas. Yes, the selection is quite meager. Normally, when you go to the market, you expect to buy a lot of stuff. Look, these are all imported. These aren't local fruits. Oranges, apples, lemons, everything is imported. The local selection is pretty limited. Bananas, potatoes, onions, and cassava. But as I wander around, I'm struck by how comfortable and peaceful it is here. Not a single person has told me I can't take pictures, nobody's bothered me or asked for money or something. Nobody's shouting. Nobody's being rude. Everyone is friendly, helpful, and nobody expects payment for a kind gesture. And you know what's really surprising? The taxi drivers don't try to rip you off. At first, I was skeptical when I asked about the fare. I read online that it should cost about 10 euros to get to the city. I thought they were going to cheat me. But when I approached the first taxi driver, looking every bit a typical tourist, and asked him how much, he said 10 euros. I thought, wow, this guy's honest. But then I asked the second, the third, the fourth, and they all said the same thing. Eventually, I stopped bothering to ask for a fare. I just hop in a taxi knowing they won't try to cheat me. Maybe they'll charge a little extra, but it's no big deal. And you know what? It's so cool here. It's almost like Japan. And despite being in Africa, it's the most amazing Africa I've experienced. After gaining independence in 1975, the authorities in Cape Verde gradually introduced political and economic reforms to establish a multi-party democracy and a thriving free market. This was crucial because Cape Verde had to essentially build its state from scratch. Since its inception, the islands had relied heavily on a large empire for everything. after independence in the 70s of the last century, Cape Verde encountered significant economic challenges. It was the Cape Verdean singer Cesária Évora, aka the Barefoot Diva, who brought the world's attention to this poverty. She earned her nickname because she often performed barefoot, drawing attention to her country's dire economic situation. Évora didn't achieve fame until she was 47 years old. She sang songs in Cape Verde's national musical genre, the morna, which is akin to what the tango is to the Argentines, a national treasure. The lyrics of the morna are written in Cape Verdean, a blend of Portuguese and African dialects. The morna music is accompanied by various musical instruments: piano, guitar, clarinet, violin, accordion, and cavaquinho, a small four-string guitar. In Cape Verde, streets, the airport in her hometown Mendelo, and even a butterfly species are named after Cesária. Her face graces postage stamps and special 2014 banknotes with a face value of 2,000 Cape Verdean escudos. Back in her homeland, Évora is deeply cherished for good reasons. Alongside her global impact in raising awareness of Cape Verde, at the peak of her career, the singer single-handedly sponsored the local school and healthcare systems. Évora earned 6 Grammy nominations and secured 1 win. Even Madonna counts herself among the admirers of this exotic singer. Here in the heart of Cesária Évora's hometown, you'll find striking graffiti featuring her portrait. And here's what a 2000 escudos banknote looks like, featuring the portrait of Cesária Évora and depiction of a musical instrument.
А здесь, собственно, вот музыкальный инструмент.
Everything is intact. Nothing was stolen. All is well. This is what the waiting room looks like. There are quite a few white guys. They're probably tourists. And there are also locals here with their trolleys heading to the neighboring island. And so you understand, you can see the neighboring island through the window.
Прямо там за окном.
Santo Antão sits on the farthest edge of Cape Verde from the African mainland. I ventured to this island primarily for its awe-inspiring mountain views and to explore the ex-volcano craters. Let's uncover the hidden wonders of nature in this remote corner of the country. We're on our way to explore the island, and it's very loud. And not because we're driving a jeep, although it's not the most soundproof vehicle, but because the roads here are made of volcanic rocks, adding to their rugged beauty and unpleasant noise level. It's truly an incredible sight. Look how the road is carved right into the stratified lava rock, revealing its mesmerizing structure. There's lava and other rocks. The landscape is adorned with porous volcanic rock, featuring caves in the crevices, creating a stunning scene, and the road is literally carved into the local hills. Along the way to the hotel, I stumbled upon vast ancient ruins nestled along the beach. So here I am now, in a settlement known as the synagogue, surrounded by the ruins of a 16th century synagogue. How did this come to be? It's rather simple. During the Middle Ages, Jews in Europe faced persecution, leading Spanish and Portuguese Jews to undergo baptism secretly. Despite this, many continued practicing Judaism covertly. As Spain and Portugal expanded overseas, Spanish Jews became among the earliest settlers. In fact, they were some of the first European settlers in Cape Verde. Unlike in Portugal, the laws here were less stringent, allowing them to openly establish synagogues, one of which stands today as ruins. Now there are no Jews left here. They left or mixed with the local population, so now there are no active synagogues here. But their legacy lives on through place names and remnants of their settlements. A testament to what happened in the 15th century. Like these remains of the old synagogue. The sea here is, I can't imagine who'd swim here now. But there are even steps leading down. Overall, the island isn't very touristy. Despite its breathtaking views, there are no developed viewpoints or tourist facilities. Local villages consist of simple concrete blockhouses, often unpainted, although occasionally adorned with vibrant colors facing the roads, creating picturesque scenes. Yet, Cape Verde's charm lies in its unspoiled nature, unmarred by mass tourism. You're very relaxed here. Here you're not a mere tourist, but a traveler, and it's much nicer here. That's when you find yourself in a popular tourist spot. Even though Cape Verde may seem like the edge of the world, it remains remarkably beautiful, safe and inviting. I highly recommend it. Let me share with you our journey around the islands of Santo Antão. Beware, the views are awe-inspiring even through the screen. The roads here are absolutely fantastic. They're narrow, all paved with these volcanic stones. And a motorcyclist has passed by, and look, the views are incredible. Here's the road, it's quite narrow. It goes in a straight line up some steep hillsides. One sec, I'll climb up here. And you can see, yes, there's a hill going down hundreds of meters. These roads wind and hide among the mountains and rocks. They're probably the most beautiful roads in the world. Winding through the beautiful mountain roads, we reach the viewpoint, which offers an out-of-this-world view. And now we are at an altitude of over 1,500 meters, and it's simply amazing how the landscape changes here. A moment ago, we were traversing through lush pine forests, verdant areas with cacti and patches of greenery, while the other part of the island revealed scorched earth and Martian-like landscapes adorned with red craters. It's incredibly beautiful. And this is great. Within the same island, you literally drive for an hour and you're in a completely different landscape. Although usually you'd expect to see a lot of greenery on the islands, most of Cape Verde resembled the surface of the Moon or Mars. Several factors contribute to this desert-like character. Firstly, the climate is hot and arid. Secondly, the soils were severely depleted by Portuguese colonizers. It's believed that they've cleared all of the local forests for cattle pasture. The soil is also heavily affected by sudden drought and rainfall, ranging from no rain for a whole year to above average rainfall in a single day. Added to this is the influence of the easterly wind, which from October to June brings sand and dust from the Sahara itself. Here you can see the different tracks you can walk on. This is the panorama view that opens up here. And here is a map of this island. Here you can also see that the northern part is green, and the southern part, the southwestern part, consists of volcanic rock. And then there are the roads that wind around it. It is a delight to drive on these roads. Not so comfortable, of course. Our little Suzuki Jimny is not exactly a comfortable car for the steep serpentine, but the views make up for any inconvenience. Look, my friends, how varied the scenery is. I'm talking about pine forests and green terraces that change into some deserted Martian landscapes, deserts, where, however, someone is grazing cattle. It's not clear what these goats are eating. We finally come down. And down here, my friends, there is an incredible black beach. A huge deserted black sand beach. It's pure magic. Oh wow, it looks incredible. It's like they say, the end of the show. Drive on the beach. Drive on the beach, he said. This looks great. We have an all-terrain vehicle. It can handle anything, it's no big deal. It's an amazing black beach, Ilya. Let's go here, Vadim said. The taxi driver stopped to laugh at us. They look at us and think, what fools came to our island? And I knew it. I said to Vadim, let's not drive into the sand.
Что нафиг эти все вот эти вот
It's nonsense.
игрища с забиранием в песок.
Well, we have a delegation of people here to save us. This is some kind of incredible technology.
Технология.
Go, go, go. Oh, that's good.
О! Хорошо.
That's it.
Все.
That's how you take out a car. You should have jumped on the spare tire. Come on, Vadim.
О,
Oh, well done.
молодец.
Unfortunately, the architecture of the local villages is no different from nondescript neighborhoods of the cities on other islands. But they still have the special pavements I'm so used to now. Of course, it is amazing that all the roads, even the new ones, are made of volcanic rock.
Что дороги все, даже новые, они, вот видите, мастят этим
And
булыжником.
here, of course, there's asphalt, but not so much of it. And there comes a moment when you get so used to driving on this rock, to this endless shaking. So when you get to the asphalt, you're like, wow, it's so quiet. I can't believe it. Well, unfortunately, all the new architecture is rather sad. They build with blocks, foam blocks, and they plaster and paint only the main facade.
Пеноблоков и штукатурят и красят
And many
только.
houses are not even painted. They all look rather sad. And look at the local road, folks. We are right at the top, 1,500 meters high or so. There's the ocean. Here's a cliff. And here's the road. You can see the clouds going over this pass. So they built a road up to the crest of a very steep mountain.
По самому гребню очень.
It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it anywhere in the world. Just look, the clouds come from here. There's a huge abyss down here.
Вообще все.
And the clouds are falling over this ridge and disappear down there.
Переваливаются через этот
There's a
гребень.
path in the middle of this place. Look how beautiful it is. Look at these stones. It's all covered with moss. Let's climb up. Try not to fall. Try not to fall. Not to fall, it's important. It will be a pity not to show you all the beauty. The mountain goats walk here somehow. Oh my goodness. Look down there, a steep cliff, and then a chasm begins.
Там пропасть!
After some more driving, I arrived at the mountain village of Pico de Cruz. It is quite small. According to the 2010 census, no more than 150 people live there. Pico de Cruz village is located at 1,400 meters above sea level. This is what the high mountain village of Pico de Cruz looks like. They're at the top of the mountain and there is a very nice road right along the ridge.
На самой вершине горы. И сюда идет очень красивая дорога прямо.
It's simply amazing. Pine trees, cypresses or something like that. This change of landscape is just amazing. After the desolate Martian volcanic landscapes came the plants.
Пустынными марсианскими вулканическими пейзажами пришла растительность.
So my friends, you go on and look at Martian landscapes. And then you see a forest as if you were somewhere, I don't know, in the Altai region. It's simply amazing. The best thing, of course, is that the road is all made of rock. The stones lie flat, there's not a single hole. I mean, we've been traveling for dozens of kilometers here and not a single hole, not a single pothole. Nowhere is the road in ruins, it is in perfect condition. Here, by the way, you can see how on the steep slopes of these mountains people manage to build terraces and grow something there. They have to take just a square meter from nature and lease some land to grow their own food.
Забирают хоть какую-то землю, чтобы вырастить себе еду.
And finally, I embarked on the most interesting and epic journey to the ancient volcanoes. Well, let's continue. It's time. It's nice here, but it's time to move on. Let's head back. Now we'll go to see the volcano, drive a bit more on these beautiful roads, and at 4 o'clock we have a ferry. My last journey through Santo Antão was through mountain villages. By the way, friends, about the paving of these volcanic streets. The story is that there are no asphalt factories here, so it's very, very expensive to deliver asphalt here.
Поэтому асфальт везти себя сюда очень и очень дорого.
There are some small asphalt areas here, but all the asphalt is imported and it's super expensive to pave the streets with it. So people use cobblestones, like they used to a long time ago, when the islands were first colonized. They're hand-paved roads. They prepare rocks and do it all by hand. That's the story.
Мастят дороги. Такая вот история.
It's an amazing thing, folks. The road is so narrow, two cars can't even pass at the same time. Even when I drive my little Suzuki Jimny, I can barely squeeze through the rocks on these hairpin turns. I don't see how a truck or anything else can get through here. And the views that are here are simply cosmic. It's a real thrill. I look at it and I want to scream with happiness because it's beautiful. Beautiful views. Look at the roads here. They've carefully lined it all up with rocks, and this is how it looks further up there. Not only do they manage to make some terraces on the steep cliffs, they also make some settlements on these, well, almost cliff edges. They jump here like mountain goats, and over there you see roads, roads, roads. They all lead somewhere. Let's go there now. There are some hiking trails. It all goes down to the sea. It's something magical. I haven't seen such beauty anywhere else in the world for a long time.
Такой красоты давно нигде в мире не видел.
And then I came to the end point of this road. It goes down to a village, and then you can only continue on foot. Here in Cape Verde, there are many trails that take a few hours, or even a few days. Many people walk on them, and they're actually very well equipped. Once you come up here, there's a sign saying this trail takes 2.2, 3.5 or 10 odd kilometers.
Начинается какой-то трек на 2,2, на 3,5 и на 10.
You have this kind of narrow streets in the mountain villages. Kitty. Hello, Kitty.
Деревня. Котик. Привет, котик.
And here is the beginning of the trail. I'm not going to follow it, but whilst we're here, you can clearly see that the paths here are maintained. So it's not just a beaten path. The path is equipped and it takes you along the sea. It looks magical. I wish I had time to walk here. Some other time I will. Look how they are building houses right on top of these cliffs. Well, in some places, the path is so narrow, there's no space here and there. I mean, I can't even open the door, let alone fit two cars on this road.
Не могу нормально открыть, не говоря же о том, что там с кем-то разъехаться на этой дороге.
This is unbelievable.
Что-то невероятное.
Here's the road and a viewpoint where you can see the crater of the volcano and look at the clouds. It looks like they're coming from below. The Cape Verde Islands are volcanic islands, and there are incredible volcanoes here in terms of landscapes, because the recent eruption made their surface looks like lunar craters. There are no plants, everything is black, and you can see the traces of the eruption. Now I'm on the island of Santo Antão, and there are no active or dormant volcanoes here. There is a caldera here, an old crater that is more than 700,000 years old. Now this flat place behind me is used by local farmers to grow corn. In general, on the islands there is very little flat land that can be used for agriculture. So this old crater is a real treasure. Look, it's a huge flat piece of land, which is divided into plots, and you can grow at least something there. And of course, the most incredible thing is that this crater is surrounded by pine forests. In general, in terms of contrast of natural spaces, landscapes and vegetation, I haven't seen anything like it anywhere. I mean, you literally drive a few kilometers and you start seeing pine forests. You drive a few more kilometers and you have Martian red landscapes. Then there are steep cliffs. It's just incredible. Anyway, my friends, Cape Verde is an incredible place. I don't know why I've never been here before. I was very skeptical about it. I thought it was just another sad island in the ocean. I don't like islands, but here I can't get enough of them. I really enjoy it. So I recommend it.
Так что рекомендую.
I walked through an incredible forest that grows on top of the mountain, right on the pass. Through this pass fly the clouds that periodically submerge this magnificent forest in the mist.
Переваливаются облака, вот, которые периодически погружают.
I don't know if you can see it. The sun shines here and sometimes a cloud sets and the forest is submerged in fog. It looks absolutely magical.
Туман. Такая вот у нас тут роскошь.
In Santo Antão, I found another ancient volcano crater, but it looked less friendly. There was no vegetation or valleys nearby, and its surface looked like freshly solidified lava. And here is the real volcano crater, as you can see. This is how it looks. And here are steep slopes of volcanic rocks. The strongest wind attacks you when you climb this volcano.
Сильнейший ветер, когда забираешься на вулкан.
I've already shown you the nature of Santo Antão. Now let's see the hotel where we stayed. There are also hotels, but they're for big groups that come here for hiking. Now, this is the first room. Wow, it's beautiful. And here's the second room. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we have here. First of all, there's Wi-Fi in the room. You can watch Netflix. Sometimes you lose connection, but for the most part, the internet is good. You can enjoy the view from here or watch the turtles. Now folks, let me show you what our morning looks like. Well, this is Vadim, who's here for coffee. Here's our two-bedroom house. It's amazing, very cozy, really cool. Every detail is very stylish, made with a lot of love. But the most important thing is, of course, the view. Just look at it. So you come out of the little house, you walk on and on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And look at this magnificent view. You can see the wild ocean and the wild beach. There's a village over there. It looks simply fantastic. You have the ocean under your feet. A hotel is being built there as well, but it's probably not yet open. It looks very stylish too. Constructions hasn't finished here too, actually. The hotel where I stay are actually 3 houses. We have 3 or 4 small houses. They're still under construction, and at the end is the main house where the restaurant is located. A European family owns it and made it all themselves. They bought the land and built this family-run hotel. It looks amazing. They cook themselves, they clean themselves, and they welcome their guests. It's probably one of the most cozy and beautiful hotels I've ever stayed in. And that you can stay in here. And this is what breakfast looks like. This is the administrative house. And here is someone's room. It looks like this. There's a boat. Look, there are some sun loungers like this one, and the owners are preparing a table. What are we going to eat today, Vadim? We have yogurt with fresh fruit, sausages, some kind of pâté or something like that, cheese, and they're cooking something here. They're cooking scrambled eggs for us. The hotel is incredibly welcoming. When people love what they do, it ends up being really nice. How did they manage to do everything so great on this island? There are no useful resources or agriculture here due to poor soil. That's a problem for Cape Verde. Nearly 20% of the local economy is derived from transfers from people who have gone to work abroad. So Cape Verde is like African Tajikistan. The main revenue of the country comes from hospitality. So of course, they largely depend on tourism. Here is an example of how Europeans come here. This is a family from Belgium. They bought a plot of land here. It's relatively small. It's hard for me to see, to be honest, as there are no borders here. They built this, and this over there is their plot with the houses. They bought it for 150,000 euros. They say it was difficult because they had to put together some land and then get approvals for everything. But the local government seems to be in favor of this type of investment. So they bought this land for 150,000 euros and started construction. They say construction process is very difficult because the materials are very bad. It is almost impossible to find good materials here. For example, due to the poor cement quality, due to the poor quality of the foam blocks that are manufactured here, they have to make thicker walls and so on. It's all very unreliable. Of course, everything is imported, so any window or door, anything you want to buy costs many times more than on the mainland. Absolutely everything. Crockery, doorknobs, towels, everything is imported. They buy everything from IKEA, and it takes about a month to arrive here in a container. Again, all this is much more expensive than in Europe. So doing business isn't easy here. But if you can do it, you can create a paradisical place. It is a very cool hotel, and probably when this video is published, they will have finished the building, because they're doing everything very quickly. So if you go to Cape Verde, if you're going to be on this island, be sure to stay here for a night or two. You'll love it because everything here has soul. The big thing is that all this part will be green and this side will be closed off. That'll be the way to the main entrance. There'll be plants here, maybe even a spot for playing pétanque or something. And there'll be a pool here which will be like transitioning into the sea. At the entrance there'll be a small gallery and we'll hang an old boat made by local craftsmen here. It'll hang on 2 ropes. You won't be able to get too close, just look through this window from here. This boat? Yes, this boat. It's a model of the boat the local sailors used to use. They had a bigger one, but we got a model without an engine. This will be my photo studio. I'm a photographer and I'll teach classes and workshops here. I'll have my art and art books all over. And there'll be a reception area. I just don't want the reception to just be a window. I want it open. That's really important. Who built all this? The local workers? Yep, all the workers are from the local village. It was super important for us to create jobs for them. Is all of this from IKEA? Yes. Where is the nearest IKEA? In Europe. Have you bought it all in Europe? Yes, because they have really good stuff. Their beds are good. Yes. Tried them out before buying them and we were satisfied. At IKEA, I only choose items I like for their quality and material. Why, is that strange? It's not, no. It's nearly impossible to buy anything here. It's a nightmare. I'm so glad we could bring our belongings from Belgium. All these containers have our stuff in them. How long did IKEA take to deliver your order here? A long time. A month or 2? Did they ship it by the sea? I think it was 3 months. 3 months. They first took it from Liège to Rotterdam, then to São Vicente. No, then to Praia, then to São Vicente. That took 6 weeks. And then we had a very long wait for the delivery. And if you forget to order something, there's nothing you can do. Yes, that's true. Or you have to wait 3 months. What's the weather like here? It's winter, so it's cool. Yes, but the water will be warm. What it's like in summer? It is 30 to 35 degrees Celsius in summer and 25 to 27 in winter. At night, it's better to wear a jumper. How about the wind? Is it this strong all year? No, it's much windier now. Is it quieter in summer? Yes, right. We have a special water purification system. The water we use goes through the system there. The same thing happens there, but on a larger scale. The water is purified by plants and we have fish living there. You've probably seen them. If there are fish in the water, it means the water is good quality. What do you do with the trash here on the island? Are there landfills or do you just burn the trash? They burn it. Yes, that's something to think about, but all food scraps are composted, so most of the trash is compostable. They also recycle water bottles for reuse. In general, there is some recycling going on here. A few weeks ago, we started growing onions and herbs. It's hard to find them in Santo Antão. Everything that's produced here goes directly to São Vicente, leaving us with nothing. So we decided to grow everything ourselves. Upstairs, we have a jacuzzi. We also planted 30 lemon trees. It's great that we did this. They're amazing. We probably have over 1,000 bananas so far. They told us bananas would never grow here, but they're growing wonderfully. They're building this big building. It will be a reception area. You'll enter like this. There will be a standard reception area here, with a garden in the center. The most important part here is, of course, the swimming pool with a view. There will be 2 rooms, a living room, a kitchen, a restaurant, and an area in front of the pool. The most important part is the infinity pool, of course. You can see the overflow. It will overlook the ocean. It's beautiful. You can watch the sunset from these chairs. There will be a restaurant. It's a dream come true to be able to grow old like this. Meeting the guests, well, they're adults. It's an interesting concept. This is Salt Island, named after the salt. Salt used to be mined here in the north. Now there are some attempts, but they're not very successful, as the focus is now on tourism. The capital of the island is called Asparagus. Wild asparagus grows here. In terms of place names, there wasn't much thought put into them. People don't come here from the asparagus or the salt. They come for the good weather, with 350 days of sunshine and constant wind. It's a surfer's paradise. Seoul is considered one of the best places in the world for surfers to ride the waves. But in general, the island is quite dull because the landscape looks like, I don't know, a vast scorched land. The island is flat, with nothing, and it looks incredibly desolate. Now we are here in Santa Maria, which is the main tourist town. It's by the sea. We walk along the pedestrian street, where all the cafes are, where the tourists go. There are all kinds of tourist attractions. And today, there aren't many people here. Why? Since today is January the 3rd, the European holidays have ended and the Europeans have left. We are here to enjoy the empty streets, semi-empty cafes and stunning beaches. Santa Maria's main beach is on the right. Now we are heading there to see it. You can clearly see there are some houses in the area. But as we approach the sea, it's a little sad. We're arriving at the beach. What is interesting here on the beach? Well, here on the left is the best restaurant in town, as they explained to me. And here is the beach, with people sunbathing. It's beautiful. By the way, take note, folks. Everything is paved with rough cobblestones. It's very nice. Yeah, you can ride a scooter here. Oh, and that's it. There's not much here. Santa Maria is a town of 20,000 inhabitants, but it's literally tiny. You can get around in about 15 minutes. And that's it. I was going to say you can travel around here on a scooter, but this is exactly the place where wild scooters come in handy. And this is what Santa Maria Beach looks like. It's actually very long and extends great distance. And here is the main pier where local fishermen work. They probably don't sell their catch there now, but if you come early, you can buy fresh fish from the fishermen and bring it to the restaurant here. Or they'll cook it for you. The restaurants here look like this, and by the way, almost all of them also offer fishing trips. They repair boats here, and there's a house with a casino sign. And here look, they sell some African art. All African countries have the same kind of art. Wherever you go, you'll see the same paintings, which I think are made in a factory somewhere in China. It's all very cheap stuff. I don't understand who buys it and why. It's so primitive. Dakar, Senegal are just 621 kilometers away. And there is an incredible lazy dog resting here. That's it. And that's the end of the whole Santa Maria tourist story. Cape Verde has two international airports, one on Santiago Island, where the country's capital, Praia, is located, and the other here on Sal Island. Sal is the main tourist island, with charters coming in from all over Europe, bringing tourists interested in surfing and other water sports. Diving is also popular due to the shipwrecks in the area. People come to dive, ride catamarans, surf, sail, or just sunbathe. The constant wind is good for surfing, but not as great for lounging on the beach. Santa Maria isn't the best place for fans of architecture or urban planning. The architecture of the main tourist town doesn't offer much. You can see what it looks like here. Here we have the main square, a showcase of urban planning. With benches, lampposts, and look, there's even a fancy children's playground. This is what the main pedestrian street looks like. We see tiles, street lamps, and ongoing construction. There are unfinished projects in some buildings, which is a bit sad. Here is the supermarket, with a standard range of products. And of course, there's a Chinese flag. We can't avoid it. The Chinese flag costs 1.5 euros. They also have the flag of Cape Verde here. Interestingly, even though Cape Verde is a tropical paradise, it only provides 10% of its own food, with almost everything else being imported. There are problems with agriculture here, making it quite difficult to grow anything. There are many people, so as we can see, they cannot fully supply their own food. The small island of Sal is really only suitable as a tourist destination for surfers who come for the big waves. In 2019, a kitesurfing World Cup was even held here. Kitesurfing is like surfing, but with the addition of controlling a small kite. The sport is fun, but dangerous and not for everyone. However, seeing interesting urban planning in Cape Verde is a bit challenging. In general, even by tourist standards, the initial impression is that everything looks very modest. You see, here's the main street. It looks very modest. There are old houses with little interest. We came to Sal Island for a few hours because there isn't much to do here. I have little interest in sunbathing on the beach or surfing. And I don't have time for diving this time around. We have a transfer flight here. We have a 4-hour layover, with an hour spent at security, so we need to arrive at the airport early. We have 2 hours to see the beautiful resort town of Santa Maria, enjoy the hotels and explore the beach. Perhaps we'll have some time to try local cuisine and then head to the capital, which should be more interesting. I did not visit the island's capital, but I contemplated it from afar before traveling to the next island. And here you can see the capital city of Asparagus, the capital of the island of Sal. And here, at the entrance to the airport, there is such a beautiful wake. It is immediately apparent that we have arrived at the islands of Sal. All the main places of interest. As you can see, there are not many of them. And here is the international airport. An old 2-story building. I think it was built sometime in the 1980s and has been upgraded much since then. Well, it's time to go. This little plane will fly to Praia, the capital of Cape Verde. It has the Angolan flag on it, which is interesting.
Вот это интересно.
Friends, welcome to Praia. Praia is the capital of Cape Verde and the largest city, with a population of 150,000. All other cities are much smaller. We can see perfectly. There's a sign here at the airport. It is a bit old, but that's okay. The city promises to be interesting. That said, it's not particularly interesting. People don't go to Cape Verde for the architecture. Yes, there is some architecture here, and guidebooks mention an impressive Portuguese colonial center in Praia. But it's important to understand that, like in all colonies, there isn't any particularly remarkable architecture here because the colonies didn't send top architects. They didn't spend much money building anything here. Why would they? It was the empire's backyard, so there isn't much to see architecturally. However, there is much to see in terms of nature. People mainly come here for the natural beauty. In this sense, Cape Verde is quite an interesting country because all the islands are very different. You might think the islands in a country would be roughly similar, but they aren't. For example, the islands of Sol is a kind of scorched earth, flat, boring and uninteresting. The only advantage of Sol Island is the constant wind, so surfers go there. The island of Santiago, where the capital is located, is mountainous and volcanic. Here there are interesting black beaches, steep cliffs and so on. There's an island with actual sand dunes. There's a lot of variety, including the volcano that's almost active. Well, not active, but there was an eruption, so there are lunar landscapes all around. And you can even climb this volcano. By the way, you can see it directly from Santiago Island. People come to Cape Verde to admire nature, bathing in the ocean, surfing, diving. By the way, here are many shipwrecks. The most important thing here is that you can be alone, because there are not many people, no one will bother you. Everything is very relaxed and comfortable enough. By the way, friends, pay attention to Cape Verde's flag. It's a blue flag with several stripes in the middle and 10 stars. These 10 stars represent the 10 largest inhabited islands of Cape Verde. Praia is home to one of the international airports. Cape Verde has direct connections to several European capitals. There are flights to Zurich, Helsinki, Amsterdam and London. But the main regular connection, as Cape Verde is still linked to its ex-colonial power, is the airline TAP Portugal, which flies daily to Lisbon from almost all the islands. I went to the city center to explore the architecture of Cape Verde's capital. The first thing that caught my eye was the elegant Catholic church. Cape Verde has an interesting religious situation. According to 2010 data from the research center, more than 89% of the country's population is Christian, mostly Catholic. When the Portuguese ruled the country, they baptized African slaves to sell them for higher prices. This led to a mix of religious traditions among Africans from different nations. African beliefs coexist with Catholic rites in Cape Verde. For instance, at a child's funeral, others escort the child on their final journey. This is necessary to prevent the evil spirit that took the child's life from reaching the family. Apparently, the spirit cannot harm other people's children. Despite this, the Catholic churches in Cape Verde are quite beautiful. And the center of Praia retains its Portuguese colonial architecture. Praia became the capital of Cape Verde in 1770, long after it had surpassed the previous economic and commercial center, Eritrea Grande. Fishing, trade, and the sale of slaves were the main benefits of the new capital. However, the town still looked like a simple fishing village. So in the 19th century, the Portuguese rebuilt the central districts and installed a water supply system. Since then, Praia's heart has retained its European colonial architecture. Many European-style buildings remain at the capital, such as the Palace of the President of the Republic, the Town Hall, the Catholic Church, the Palace of Culture, and the Ethnographic Museum. Without Portugal's intervention, Cape Verde wouldn't have had colonial architecture or even a state. There is no evidence that anyone lived here before the Portuguese expeditions of the 15th century. European navigators were the first to settle these territories. Without them, it would have been nothing more than a collection of islands. Besides Portuguese travelers and soldiers, Cape Verde's population grew rapidly due to African slaves brought to the islands. This also influenced Cape Verde's status among other African colonies. Its ports had long been major centers of the slave trade in Europe and Africa. After the ban on human trafficking, the economy was sustained by the island's favorable geographic location. Salt mining began in the 19th century, and coal deposits were established in Mindelo, the main port city, to supply fuel to transiting ships. After a military coup in 1926, a dictatorship was established in Portugal. The new government revised the status of the colonies, and in the 1950s, Cape Verde was recognized as a province with full local governance. People could study at Portuguese universities and travel to other colonies. Thanks to these reforms, a liberation movement emerged in Portuguese-held Africa. A man sells belts. And this is what the streets of the old town look like. There's hardly any significant architecture, and everything is centered around the central square. They're mostly houses. Most of them are relatively new. Some are under construction. So in terms of walking, Praia is probably not the best city. And in Cape Verde, you should focus on the nature, not the architecture. Overall, Cape Verde may seem like a distant, isolated place, but on the other hand, why pretend otherwise? People don't come here for urban planning or to admire cities. People come here to surf, dive, lounge on the beaches, see volcanoes, and explore, I don't know, forests, trees, and unique wildlife. I'm grumbling about cities and architecture, but not everyone is interested in that. Well, maybe some are. By the way, pay attention. It's intriguing that among so much colonial architecture with those tiled roofs, and amid the simple colonial architecture, you suddenly see such modernist buildings. It's not clear how they got here. Well, it is clear, but it all seems so strange. One of the local services is a car wash. Cars don't get very dirty here, but the workers clean the dust right in the parking lot. It's not very environmentally friendly and it's probably not great for the car's paint, but they do it in many countries, washing directly in the parking lot. Regarding this, parking at the city center is paid, and from what I understand, they even regulate very well. When we parked the car, we didn't realize where we could park or not. Immediately, people approached us and said we would be fined. There are quite a few police officers here. I don't know if they all monitor parking lots, but there's a sense of order here. This is what a parking machine looks like. There are no written prices. It's funny that right in front of the presidential palace there is a little children's amusement park, but it's not very appealing. The streets of the old town led me to one of the capital's markets. They say the markets here are more popular than supermarkets, so let's take a look. And here we are at the market. You can see what's being sold here. Traditional items like tomatoes, eggplants, beetroots, zucchinis, and some pumpkins. People are selecting items for themselves. Some leafy greens. Markets are popular here because their products are cheaper than the supermarkets. Since people here aren't very wealthy, everyone shops at the markets, and they mostly buy local products from local farmers. However, there are also people selling imported goods. As I mentioned, the country does not produce enough to supply itself, so most products are imported. On the upper level, they sell fruits. You can even eat something here. There aren't many fruits available. There are small local watermelons that are tiny and not very sweet. There are bananas. Here are some local watermelons. I'd say they are not very similar to Russian watermelons. Everything else is imported. Papaya, watermelons, small papayas, small watermelons. They're melons, but they're not very tasty. All the oranges and apples come from Portugal. This is the fast food aspect of the market. You can buy some items from these small shops and eat them here.
За этими прилавочками купить себе каких-нибудь вкусняшек и прямо здесь поесть.
There are some old houses, and here is the central square of Praia, some old Portuguese benches. Behind the fence is a monument to a local individual. Look at the beautiful cacti here. Something is happening, some kind of event. People with buckets are coming. It could be a protest. Women are coming with buckets, wanting something. From Praia Central Square, you can access the main pedestrian area. This is the main pedestrian street, which has some shops selling equipment. Look at the trees. They've been cut down and joined together to create archways like this. It looks quite funny. There's a coffee shop and an ice cream shop, and all these trees look like ficus trees. I'm not sure what they are, but they resemble giant ficus trees judging by their leaves. If someone knows about trees, let me know in the comments what kind of tree it is. I think it's a native ficus of some kind. Here's the coastal part of Praia. It has embassies, and for instance, this luxurious mansion is the Libyan embassy, judging by the flag. And the next one is some embassy too. Maybe it's the EU. Maybe some unified one. Yes, there is indeed a Libyan embassy in Cape Verde. And here is a building with an EU flag. The delegation of the European Union. It's supposed to be the best beach in town. Let's take a look. There is a luxurious beach club with sun loungers, making it luxurious and beautiful beach overall. There's even a bar. Oh wow, it's truly a luxurious bar. But around the bar, it's all chaos. You wouldn't even know we're in the center. It's like the middle of nowhere. While walking along the beach, I'll notice this lone lighthouse. This lighthouse was built in the 1880s, with a terrace and reflector positioned 40 meters high. People come here and can leave their autograph in our book. Are you going on the boat? No. Where are you from? United States? From Russia. Oh, Russia. From Moscow? Yes, from Moscow. Putin, yes. Donna Maria Pia Lighthouse is the southernmost point of the city and the first structure that ships encounter at the entrance of the harbor. It was built in 1881 and named after the then Portuguese queen. Modern equipment has been installed here, making the lighthouse up to date. Everything is connected and looks very nice. The keeper who let me in is incredibly cautious to make sure no one touches anything or falls from the lighthouse. That's very sweet. I wonder how much money he's going to ask for now. Yes, it's an interesting question, because he didn't let us in purely out of kindness. He mentioned TV and noted that everyone comes here to film the magnificent views. To my right is the presidential palace, which you can't film. We're going to try, but they will probably stop us. Here is the presidential palace, guarded by a single person. There isn't a fence around the presidential palace, which is very democratic. It shows the president isn't afraid of anything. Well, what should an honest person be afraid of, right? There's nothing to fear. For an African country, the presidents here have been very honest and upright. None have been involved in financial or political scandals, nor are any known as bloody dictator. No president has erected monuments to themselves here. Only statues of historical figures who shaped Cape Verde's destiny exist. When I realized there wasn't much else to do in Praia, I headed to another significant town on the island, Santiago. This is where, according to researchers, Cape Verde was born, once a Portuguese colony and now a peaceful island state. These are the roads of Cape Verde. They are very, very narrow. You can barely fit 2 cars. The entire road is paved with cobblestones. Our Suzuki Jimny, which we rented, is rumbling and shaking. Come on, car! Friends, this is the oldest town in Cape Verde, Ciudad de Vela. It was founded in 1462. Columbus's and Vasco da Gama ships once stopped here, but by the end of the 16th century, with the crisis of the Portuguese Empire, Ciudad de Vela began to lose its power and commercial importance. The authorities built a fort to protect the city from the English and French. But in 1712, nothing protected the city from French pirates. The old center of Cidade is on the UNESCO World Heritage List and the first European colonial outpost in the tropics. Of the 16th century historical monuments, a marble pillar in the square, the ruins of the cathedral in the distance and the famous fort have been preserved. Everything else consists of new housing and buildings. There's no particularly old architecture here, but the town is quite pleasant. It's only a 20-minute drive from the capital of Cape Verde, Praia. Now let's walk around a bit and have a look at the Cape Verde's first town. People are relaxing on the steps of Cape Verde's main monument. Oops, someone noticed we were filming here and decided to wake up. All these beachside cafes are cute and authentic. There are many abandoned buildings, which shows that the people are poor. But I think the main advantage is that global tourism hasn't yet arrived here. By the way, pay attention to how commerce works here. A man lives here, and right outside his house they sell creams and other items. At another house, they sell vegetables at the door. While selling, they can spend time with their babies. It seems like a song about the evils of alcoholism. Yes, don't drink, friends. Hey, I'm starting to realize what's so great about Cape Verde. It's that global tourism hasn't arrived yet. No Starbucks, no crowds of tourists, no tour buses. Everything feels homely, cozy, and you sense a kind of solitude. Away from civilization, you can enjoy nature and immerse yourself in your surroundings. It's also very quiet. No one attacks you, grabs your hand, or tries to sell you anything. People are very relaxed and discreet, which is rare these days. It is the opposite of Egypt, Morocco, or Turkey. Here you relax very quickly, and it's great. There are no services here, no luxury hotels or fancy restaurants, but it's peaceful. Friends, a little about the local roads. The roads in general are fine, with asphalt everywhere. It's wonderful, but there are many speed bumps. Even in places where it doesn't make sense to install them, they do. So driving can be challenging. We rented this Suzuki Jimny for just 50 euros a day. By the way, interestingly enough, the manager told us, "Don't worry about petrol. It has such a low fuel consumption that you don't even realize you might run out of petrol. You probably filled the car 2 years ago and still have half a tank left. And really, judging by the fact that it has what looks like a washing machine engine, and by how underpowered it is, it shouldn't run out of gas." We're traveling around the main island, the capital island of Cape Verde. We're going to see what's going on here. It's quite beautiful with acacia trees, palm trees, and some agriculture. Most importantly, there are volcanic beaches, beautiful black beaches, because the island is volcanic. There's black sand everywhere. There are several types of sand in Cape Verde. There's black volcanic sand. On the western islands, the sand is white. There are even islands with real dunes. The sand on the western islands comes from the Sahara Desert, carried here by the winds. And on these islands, there are real beaches with white sand. But on the other islands like this one, the sand is black, which is not very attractive. Looking at the shore, you see that some parts don't have sand at all because some beaches have volcanic rocks. This is what most beaches look like, fishing boats. They're made of fiberglass, unlike in Senegal, for example, where the people are quite poor. There, the boats are made from planks of wood by hand. Here, there is at least a proper hull. And the beaches are black because the islands are volcanic. It's really black volcanic sand. Here is the modern Cape Verdean architecture. And then we have endless mountains and hills. The terrain, of course, is very rugged. Which makes farming difficult because there aren't many places to grow anything. Nevertheless, everything here is beautiful, everything is good, wonderful. Except that, again, people throw rubbish on the road for some reason. Littering is an international problem. Look at the local roads. The roads here are fantastic because the whole island is volcanic. So they make the roads out of volcanic rock. The entire road is made of carved rock. It's not very comfortable to drive, but it looks incredibly beautiful. And that's how they solve the rubbish problem. They carry all the rubbish up to the hillside and then burn it all. After Ciudad de Vela, I continued to the north of the island of Santiago, where I found a place whose history doesn't match the appearance of the paradisical coastline. I reached the northern tip of Santiago, the main island of Cape Verde, and there's a small village called Tarrafal. Now it's a nice tourist spot. Yachts come into the bay, people ride jet skis, there are fishermen, there are cafes, it's a little paradise overall. But the place has a sad history because in 1936, the Portuguese opened a real concentration camp here. Portuguese took political prisoners from all the African colonies, and it was a very harsh prison. You have to consider the harsh climate, with constant winds that drove the prisoners crazy. There was also much torture. Judging by what's written here, the punishment cell was located just behind the kitchen wall, and its temperature sometimes reached 60-70 degrees, almost like a sauna. You couldn't stand there, only sit, and conditions were terrible. This concentration camp existed until 1974, practically until Cape Verde declared its independence from Portugal. The concentration camp was established during Portugal's repressive authoritarian regime. At that time, the real power in the colonial empire was in the hands of Prime Minister Antonio de Salazar, who held office for more than 36 years. He led the country out of crisis and ensured economic growth during the global downturn. At the same time, Salazar established a one-party monopoly in Portugal, and during his reign, he destroyed all opposition and revolutionary groups, not only in Portugal, but also in his colonies. Opponents of the Salazar regime were exiled to Tarrafal. During the concentration camp's existence, 36 people died here. Among the victims of Tarrafal were Portuguese, Angolans and Guineans. And now you see, everything is very nice and calm. There are fishermen, boats, catamarans and impressive mountains. Today, the old Portuguese revolutionary camp looks different. It seems the only remains of crime and danger are these barracks. Now there is a museum on the camp site. You can see how the prisoners were kept here. By the way, the wall is surprisingly low. Maybe there was just good security, and here's the camp's territory. Overall, very unusual. I've noticed what's missing. Not many people ask you for money for parking. Nobody tries to sell you souvenirs near the main beach or tourist village. They don't offer to wash your car, nor do they ask for money. In general, nobody bothers you, and you quickly adjust to this lightness, discretion and tranquility, which feels good. Cape Verde is a country heavily reliant on tourism. However, few people know about it yet, and perhaps that's for the best. An atypical and peaceful island country where you can disconnect from the hustle and bustle and your own fears. I really enjoyed my stay here, and I recommend you visit Cape Verde too. If you like this video, don't forget to like it, leave your comments and subscribe to my channel. Also share the video on Reddit and send the link to your friends via WhatsApp.